So for a while now, I've noticed that comic book movies are getting a giant buzz within the media. And I'm sorry about my voice, by the way. I was working haunted house last night, and my voice is all shot to shit. But anyway, yeah. So one of my favorite comic book franchises has to be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and anybody who knows me knows I don't shut up about this for like once you get me started, you can't get me stopped. So I just kind of thought I'd put this together real quick and give my general thoughts over the MCU itself. I remember when I think it was the first Transformers had come out, and I got it on DVD, and after the movie was done, they went right into the trailer section, and there was a trailer for Iron Man, and I didn't even know about it at the time. I'm like, oh, cool, they're making an Iron Man movie, because I know, like, most people know that he started out as a B-lister superhero, and I watched the trailer, and I thought it was awesome. I'm like, oh, cool, they're going to make an Iron Man, add that to the list of all the other Marvel movies they've made down the line. And it wasn't even until I saw, I think it was The Incredible Hulk with my dad in theaters, and Tony Stark showed up at the end of that, and he's like, what if I told you we were putting a team together? And I still didn't even catch on because I hadn't seen the Samuel L. Jackson thing at the end until a couple of years later. And I'm thinking, okay, well, are they going to do Avengers or are they going to do Defenders? Because I knew that Hulk was in the Defenders, but they're doing both anyway, but they just started with the Avengers. So then I had seen Iron Man 2, and I kind of waited till after credits, and it wasn't until I saw Thor that I finally realized, oh crap, there's the scene with Thor's hammer at the end of Iron Man 2. And then they announced Captain America, the first Avenger, and then the Avengers had come out. But it was actually, like, I've never heard of a series that actually makes movies to build up to an entire multi-million-dollar franchise, considering the fact that the Avengers alone made over $1 billion, which is kind of ridiculous in a sense. But I'm a fan. It shouldn't even be really even that ridiculous. But I mean, I kind of came from a world years and years ago where people would frown upon comic books. Like, I used to read them all the time in high school, and I would be made fun of on a daily basis. People would be like, why are you reading that stuff? You know, I'd be embarrassed to carry it around. And now people think this. I said the same shit about when the Godzilla movie had come out. Same exact shit. People would hate on Godzilla, and next thing you know, Facebook's all up the ass on Godzilla. I'm like, wait a second. I used to like that shit, and you made fun of me. Like, oh, well, it's cool now. So, you know, same thing goes with the comic book movies. Everybody's invested after they used to make fun of me. You know, it's really weird, and it's also nice in a sense because it's got the general media kind of involved in like the geekiness of everything. And I just started watching The Big Bang Theory too, so I mean, I know that clicks with a lot of people, especially with the involvement of Kaylee Kuko, and they're all such great actors. But the way that the MCU presents itself in real life kind of reminds me of how The Big Bang Theory works. It's like you've got the next door neighbor who's kind of somewhat ditzy, but she hangs out with geeks all the time, and they're totally fine with it. And they kind of teach her stuff, she teaches them stuff, and it's a realm where geeks and regular people, I guess if that's even such a thing, can even coexist. But MCU has kind of presented like superheroes to the general public for over a decade now, and it's kind of nice to feel like it. But you know, for a film series such as this, who's in its third stage with Civil War, I mean, they're really ambitious. They really took a jump on Iron Man, because you got to think about this. You've got John Favreau. I can never pronounce that dude's last name. Who was more of an actor than a director at the time, and he did Elf, and that was amazing. But point being, they just want to start a franchise. They take a B-list character like Iron Man, and they give it to an actor who they don't even want in the first place. They don't even want him because, first of all, he's not young. He just got out of rehab for drug rehabilitation and, you know, all that glorified media crap. And what happens? They blow that movie out of the water. It was like, I heard rumors at the Comic-Con panel that that things went nuts. Like everybody just went ballistic for this movie. And in a sense, I guess, I mean, they knew what they were doing, but they kind of didn't. But now it feels like they didn't want Downey Jr., but now they kind of depend on him. And there have been multiple times where the MCU is about to collapse, but I feel like Downey Jr. is kind of the glue that holds it all together. I mean, this dude, all he has to do is walk into work, be himself, and he gets $1 billion paycheck or whatever it is. But you kind of get the sense. I mean, he found his niche, and which is what hardly most people could do. He just shows up on set and acts like his normal, everyday, snarky self. And for any actor, I kind of feel like that's very I mean, like I said, he found his niche, but he also and the other thing that I admire him for is the fact that he looks out for his co-stars. He got on the phone with Chris Evans when Chris was like, I don't know if I should do this, and he's like, look, these movies are going to take off forever. You're going to regret it if you don't do it. He calls up Mark Ruffalo when Edward Norton had his dispute, which, by the way, you could watch The Avengers without having to watch The Incredible Hulk and catch up just fine, which is weird in a sense. Excuse me. And then you got the TV series. Jeez. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you got Agent Carter, you've got Daredevil, Jessica Jones coming up soon, and then you've got all the Marvel one-shots, including, I can't even think. There's a bunch of Coulson ones. I know there was the Item 47 where it was the two kids, Lizzie Kaplan and whoever, and Sitwell tracks them down. And then there's All Hail the King with Ben Kingsley's Mandarin character, where they reveal that he's not actually the Mandarin. But to be honest, I think that this series really entails, people are saying that the comic book movies are going to die out. I don't think for a while, maybe. I think they still have potential to keep going. It's kind of like giving a baby candy and then trying to take it away right away. It's probably not going to happen maybe for a while. If anything, I kind of feel like the MCU, since it's already kickstarted crossover series like the Justice League and King Kong vs. Godzilla, I remember back in the day, AVP or Freddy vs. Jason, those were very rare occurrences because, yes, the companies had the franchises, but they were very skeptical about putting them together. It was only whether the fans decided. But now it's just like clockwork. I mean, they put them out consistently. It's not even a rare occurrence anymore. They just do it. And I kind of feel like this would help spike the general interest in going back into the theaters again. So that's just my personal thoughts. I love it. I've seen every single piece of work. I'm excited for Civil War. I'm just excited there's new Captain America altogether. So that's pretty much about it.